I think it would be really awesome and, speak to the creative elements that we have within the Federation, specifically within the youth,
Well, and to jump on, I mean, we spend a lot of time on swang, but I think it's all this swang is still juicy. Sugar water is still juicy.
Swang sweet,
But just to piggyback on the last thing that Wood said was, in terms of the youth, I believe strongly, I think I mentioned it to Pierre before, that as it relates to our education system, that music and the creative and the cultural aspect, the blending of those things should be introduced as early as possible, not as a sideline or as a nice to know, but almost as a, because to me, for the youth to be better enabled, you have to have different avenues for self-expression and creative expression. And if you just don't understand where you could have the vents to release that creative energy, you're going to be frustrated and you might act out in certain ways. So I believe as much as possible, we need to make that like a standard where my thing, by the time you leave high school, you should know how to play at least one instrument. Everybody. Whatever the instrument is the instrument.
And
but,
I think,
at least one instrument.
I think research has shown that people who play some form of music has a more superior brain functioning.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Than people who don't.
I mean, this is the only instrument to play.
I've read that.
Yeah, I've seen it repeatedly.
Makes learning easier.
Yeah, and so music seems to be one of those things that can enhance our life and our brain if we get involved in it.
What's stopping us from cutting a piece of zinc and having that kind of a wrapping it around your neck and you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you see, think of it in the past, when the iron we call it.
Yeah.
They take a piece
Just
of
a
old
piece of
iron,
iron,
especially the rim of car drum brakes, right? And a piece of steel, and then knock that like crazy and make it a sweet with it. You hear iron start pounding up and so everybody start bouncing, right? And next thing I remember seeing the other day that
anyone remember the series on HBO, Stomp Out Loud, where they was playing like street instrument, where it's like, as you say, the rim of a car, a aisle drum and stuff like that. It used to be a good series and HBO.
That was,
I think it's Stomp Out Loud, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it a Caribbean thing? Was it a Caribbean thing or was it?
No, it was a US.
Oh, US, okay. Because I know that is more typical of Caribbean music makers.
But it'll copy us,
Probably.
Yeah.
Because
it's quite common in New York, which we usually imagine with all the immigration.
Yes.
You see guys in the subway playing.
And the thing is, I think in some of the islands, maybe Antigua,
Iron Band.
And that's where Iron Band started. Everybody taking all kind of piece of anything make out of steel or iron and just knocking them and making sweet music.
And we used to have that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the challenges is we too quick to modernize and grab onto the new fancy thing. And discount and devalue what we have that represents us, where we come
I saw this more than once, again on social media. I don't know where these guys are. They look like they're people from somewhere either in the Pacific region, the Pacific Islands, but they take bamboo. They put the bamboo laid on the ground, about maybe 20 pieces strapped lengths together. And each set makes up a musical instrument. And then another person will have another one, which might be more bass, another one mostly kind of maybe treble, and so on and so on. And each, just like a pipe organ, each piece of bamboo has a certain length, which produces a certain note. Okay? And then they take something like a slipper or something flat and flexible, and they hit the end of the bamboo, right? And of course, these guys are skilled, so they do it in a way where they go on. They're making music, and of course, everybody know their part. So you got all the parts, the bass, the treble, the this, the that coming in. Sweet music out of bamboo.
Yeah, they practice.
Right? And like I say, we can get creative. We can get very creative.
We are creative. And I don't think it would take a whole lot, because everyday life in St. Kitts Nevis is interesting.
Yes.
You come across different scenarios, and you could just, set your mind to and just write it out, you know, and create lyrics about it. I mean, we have a lot of story and experience on a daily basis, minute to minute, back to our childhood, weekend engagement. Like, there's a lot around us that we could write on, not just, I mean, the same old, same
And
old.
you know what I've noticed? In my case in particular, I often say I could be a songwriter, you know.
Go for it.
But my problem is when the inspiration hits me, I'm not in a position to put it down or record it. So, for example, I'll be, let's say, walking along the street, and I see something that hits me, and I think of some lyrics and I think of a song, and I say, hey, this could make a good song, you know. And while I'm walking, I think about it. But then next thing I meet somebody, hey, what's up? What's happening? How you doing? And so, by the time I finish the conversation, everything gone out of my head. And when I reach down, I want to so remember it again, but I don't remember what I was thinking of then. And so it's lost.
Sense would have been,
Yeah. So the thing about it I discovered is when you get these creative urges, stop and pay attention to it and do something about recall, because you're not going to remember it easily unless you're maybe a musical genius who specializes in that, and so you remember these things and you think, no.
I agree, and I endorse that 100%. And I suspect that all three creative gentlemen here this morning feeling the urges and create something nice and sweet. For
While we are talking about music and musical instruments, I noticed that the Department of Cultural Heritage also has the master class in cultural instruments for adults. So that's a good lead on.
Sure.
And their effort here is calling on all current and aspiring musicians. Okay. Anyone interested in learning the kettle drums, the bass drums, or fife should sign up and learn from some of our most seasoned practitioners, such as Mr. Devon Nisbet on kettle drum, Mr. Russell Jarvis, also on kettle drum, Mr. Alaric Gums, bass drum, Mr. Wayne Simmons on the fife, okay? And the master class takes place on Saturdays from November 1st to December 20th, 2025. And the time for those classes are 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and they will take place at the Dr. Williams Primary. So anybody interested in learning any of these instruments, the kettle drum, the bass drum, or the fife, join the masterclass in cultural instruments for adults, November 1st to the 20th of December, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Dr. Williams Primary School. Anything you want to add to this, Pierre?
Registration is free.
Aha,
Yeah.
That's a good one. Registration is free. Get that, folks? So you have no excuse to say, well, I broke right now, so I can't get culturally inspired and educated by this master class. So a free master class. Anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah, so if you're ever interested in learning an instrument, if you like Cosbert, who walk down the road and hear those youngsters playing that sweet music, but you want to learn as well, we're inviting you to try your hat in the ring and learn with some of the masters so that you could apply those skills just about anywhere. But hopefully, at the end of it, and hopefully in a not too distant future, you'd be interested in joining in providing musical accompaniment to one of our folklore traditions.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And to stem the dying off of our musicians.
Yeah,
or
because
the
we don't
bands.
want that, especially old traditional stuff like the fife. I think there was a time in recent years when there seemed to have been a dearth of people who could play the fife. But I think there was a revival of that, and we now have. So we got to keep it going.
Yeah, you got to keep going. I mean, you can't expect one or two people to do it all the time. I mean, life happens, people move on. I mean, different experiences. So you constantly need to be practicing, training your people, and taking up the mantle.
Great. And I see you have something called the We Village That challenge, or what is it?
It's not a challenge, really. It's a celebration.
Celebration. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a celebration of different communities and the members of the community that are long-standing, positive anchors in the community that provide support and inspiration and, role model type behavior to persons for generations. And these are usually unsung heroes of the community. They might not win national or regional awards or get national acclaim. The idea is to go into the community, speak with members, identify these people, and acknowledge and celebrate them on different days.
That's nice.
Throughout the community.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people worth celebrating, but just that they keep a low profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we haul them out and give them their accolades, and we celebrate them. And we celebrate the community itself as well, and, build togetherness and pride, because everybody should be prideful. I mean,
so
of the community
these will
and
be
contribute
like a public function.
Yeah. And it's at the St. Peter's Community Center, 5 p.m. Next Wednesday, October 29th, and we invite everybody to come out and celebrate community members.
All right. So, folks, come on out to the St. Peter's Community Center on the 29th of October at 5 p.m. And let's have We Village that.
Yeah, in Sunny Point alone should be Boston.
Yeah. Okay.
He couldn't resist, right?
We are encouraged.
I'm with him. Sandy Pointer.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, great. So we also have with us today, as we have mentioned before, Mr. Rodney Brown. He's an entrepreneur, and my understanding is he's here as a cultural volunteer. He's assisting with the inventorying of the masquerade tradition. Tell us about that, Rodney.
Right. Well, I would like for Pierre to just give an overview of the activity, and then I'll just jump in.
Yeah. So thank you, Rodney. So again, we have a lot of gaps, and we don't necessarily have the luxury of dealing with all of them one at a time. Some things have to happen concurrently. That's the right one? My brain kind of slow right now, But what we recognize is we need to vigorously document our masquerade or folklore traditions for posterity and for educational purposes, and that's for our national benefit across St. Kitts and Nevis, but also to get them international recognition through application for inscription on the UNESCO. So the process started, the process has been ongoing. We're just putting in new energies and so into it ever so often. But this time, we're doing a major thrust to have all of the masquerade traditions documented, and that includes all of the masked costume traditions. So it includes masquerade, bull, clowns, mummies, makajumbi, string band, Johnny Walker, anything that we currently practice that is alive and well here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We want to document them and have a robust inventory nationally. We would have secured UNESCO support to provide technical and a bit of financial support in order for us to do this. Now we need a number of hands and skilled and serious professionals and volunteers to assist in going out into the communities, engaging with the community members and the practitioners in the spaces where they practice and perform as well, to gather the information from the horse's mouth, so to speak. What are these practices? How do they come about? What's the communities? Yeah, I'm saying too much. But to document it fully and to have a robust inventory through a written narrative, photography, and video. And then we'll do regular assessment, fine-tune them, and then make a comprehensive submission early next year to UNESCO for inscription. Consideration for inscription.
So that has to go first on what we call a tentative list.
Yeah.
They do a tentative list first. Yes. You go on the tentative list, and then you pick from the tentative list to...
Yeah.
Unless that's the only submission you have. Well,
we have a long list, but right now what we're going to send is we're going to group all the folklore and masquerade traditions together and make one submission.
Okay. It's a 10-minute video, right?
Yeah, the ultimate video is 10 minutes.
10 minutes, right.
So hence we have esteemed persons like and skilled and committed persons to our cultural heritage, like Rodney Brown and others, who bring skill and focus and integrity to assist us in collecting and shaping the material for successful submission and robust inventory nationally.
Nice.
I think I said too much, but...
No, I think you said just the right amount, so I don't have to say too much. No, and so just to add to that, so as Pierre mentioned, and masquerades, right? Masquerades. Tradition, realize he keeps adding a / folklore, because locally when we hear masquerade, we think masquerade,
Yeah,
but it's masquerades.
yeah.
So that's the distinction in the sense that the definition being the mass performers, right? So that was one of the things that I had to adjust initially when I went to the meeting. The understanding that when I heard masquerade, I wasn't considering that it was the expansion of all the different
Yeah,
folk
because I
activities.
think I heard Pierre explain at a UNESCO meeting that although the submission is going to include all our different folklore traditional performances, they all come under the heading of masquerade,
Yeah.
right? Because that is the definition that UNESCO would accept them under.
Yeah, and
And if you look in the dictionary for the word masquerade, it speaks to performances by masked performers. And perhaps that's where the name came from originally for what we call the masquerades. But essentially, all those masked performers are masquerading.
yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's important to get that
Right.
definition.
So I and to add to what Pierre mentioned, it's not just about the performances. The idea is to catalog everything. So from the persons who make the instruments, who play the instruments, persons who make the costumes, etc. So you have a full cataloging of any specific folklore activity, which I think is significant because a lot of times we don't appreciate all the different players that come together, players in the sense of practitioners, stakeholders that come together to make whatever it is a reality, whether it is the clown, whether it is the quote-unquote masquerade, Makajombe, etc. So when he told me about it, I was definitely excited to participate in whatever where I could. Granted, I'm somewhat busy at the moment, but I told him whatever time I could carve out, I was definitely going to contribute. And so my role we've been formulated into different groups, focusing on different masquerade activity. So I'm in a group that's assigned to the clowns. And when Pierre revealed that we only have 2 official clown groups, or something along those lines, I thought he meant to select 21. Because when Carnival comes around, I mean, to me the clowns have been more and more massive in terms of being on the street anyway. And so when he was explained in terms of the clown, the traditional clown, because again, sometimes we just it's not just the look
It's
of
not
the
just
clown.
putting on a clown suit.
Right, it's not just putting on a clown suit.
And I think that's what has been happening in
Right.
recent years. People to be sort of anonymous.
Right,
in
it's
their
appealing in that
performance.
way. Right.
Yeah, they dress up in a clown suit and they join wherever the music is and they just dance up and so on
Right.
in their clown suit.
And not realizing, so for me, I mean, I'm a little old now, but I could recall, going out to watch the parade, etc., and clowns going into the neighborhood the same way the masquerades will go through different neighborhoods and performing, and doing I call it somewhat of a ballet on the street because of how the movements
Yeah,
are.
the clone dance,
Right, the clown
distinctive
has a
clown
very
dance,
graceful kind of way to it.
Almost look like cabaret or something.
Yeah, it has a
yeah,
very
yeah.
So when it's done and it's done well, I mean, you just gotta stand up.
It's
and look.
skillful.
Yeah,
how they-
very.
how they- yeah.
I mean, my favorite is still the masquerade. I love my masquerade, from the dance to the music, etc. But the clown is very distinct and because as well that you don't really see, especially during carnival time, a lot of the actual full-fledged clown performance.
Yeah.
It's quite rare. So I'm assigned to that group. So one the activities is that we'll go to as Pierre mentioned, going to the communities, meet with the practitioners as they're doing their craft, learning, training, practicing, etc. Conduct interviews. So we have someone assigned as an interviewer. We have a photographer, videographer. So a whole team would be on scene, cataloging the activity, and then that is then distilled down, edited based on what direction, and capturing as much information as possible. Because although it's being driven for this submission for UNESCO, it's not just about that. Because we will have a lot, for it to be distilled down to 10 minutes, that's probably like maybe 1% of all the information that will be collected. So we still have a lot of information beyond that we could utilize in different ways going forward. So I'm just here to assist them in any way I
Okay.
can.
I think any assistance they can get in that area is great. I remember, was it early this year, we had our History and Heritage Month of activities, the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society. And one of the things we like to, one of our signature events is the Senior Citizens Social, where we put on an evening of entertainment and food and drink and activity, and we get the seniors involved. They can come and give their own poems, they can sing their own songs, they can tell their own jokes and whatnot and so on. And it's very much looked forward to every year. And so we usually get the help of the Department of Culture to assist us in finding a cultural performance to be at the event. And this year, they told us we're going to get some clowns. And I was like, okay, I haven't seen clowns for a long time, right? And of course, they didn't have a dedicated clown band, because the clown music is very unique.
Correct. Right.
But also, they had given us a performance by a string band. Can't remember the name of the string band.
Jingle Bells?
I think with Mills.
Yeah, I think it's Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And they came and they were playing for them, and they played as close to clown music as you might want, right? And I was amazed because what I saw coming onto the stage there were a bunch of youngsters, right? Teenage boys and girls, right? Coming onto stage, and lo and behold, they had the traditional clown dance going down, and it was so sweet. The music, because nowadays you find if you get clowns even on the street for a thing, because they have to compete with the big Wi-Fi systems, they put their music on the Wi-Fi. You don't get genuine live clown music. But these guys, the string band was playing clown music, and these boys and girls were dancing real clown dance, the same thing we're talking about that they were doing, and I was like, yeah. And it was absolutely refreshing and totally entertaining.
And I have to recognize a number of people that were able to make that happen. For one, Aidan Hendrickson and his team for actually spearheading and actually taking that on, coming out of our engagement through the camps, the knowledge transfer camps, and our facilitator Elroy Sports Brown, who trained vigorously our young people to learn those traditional clown dances and moves.
They did a marvelous job.
And he went on to help train Aiden's group as well. And coming out of those engagement and training, we have some young people, teenagers, young adults, who are able now to train younger people coming up.
And so the tradition will go on.
That's the idea.
In its essence. Well, Rodney, thank you for getting involved in that cultural effort, and we look forward to seeing how that develops along the way. And right now we're going to take a break for commercial, and we'll be right back after this.
We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Ready to save while you build? Now you can at Builders Paradise. Yes, shoppers, build up your Value Club points at Builders Paradise. That's right, Value Club members and shoppers, your favorite frequent buyer club is now available at the home of hardware and more. Whether you're laying tiles, painting walls, replacing doors, upgrading windows, or fixing up your home, every purchase at Builders Paradise now earns you Value Club points. Enjoy exclusive benefits like discounts on thousands of items, special savings for seniors, instant deals, quarterly rebates, plus an extra up to 2% off every quarter. Shop more, save more, earn more, only at Builders Paradise. Don't miss out. Start building your rewards today with Value Club at Builders Paradise, because every bolt, board, and brush brings you closer to bigger, better savings. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect venue with history, beauty, and a breathtaking view? Come to Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park, St. Kitts' premier destination for unforgettable events. From romantic weddings and elegant banquets to family picnics and memorable celebrations, Brimstone Hill has the setting you've been searching for. Need a professional space? We also offer conference room facilities at both the Fortress and our Matheson House head office. Call us today at 465-2609 to make your booking. We're open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park, where history meets your most memorable moments.
Okay, folks, we're back on Heritage Matters. As mentioned before, we have with us Mr. Pierre Liebert, Director of Culture, Mr. Rodney Brown, Entrepreneur and Cultural Volunteer, and Mr. Cosbert Woods, the UN Country Coordination Officer for St. Kitts and Nevis. And we were just talking about the inventorying of the masquerade tradition, including the clowns, the bull. You mentioned one there that I was a little intrigued by, Johnny Walker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that on the street.
No, probably not yet. But if you were at the Folk Galore competition last December 18th.
I wasn't. I was overseas.
Yeah, you would have seen them.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're actually being practiced right now and revived in Nevis. So they would have come over for the competition.
I think that's what I heard. Yeah, something out of Nevis called the Johnny Walker. That'd be interesting to see because I like to see cultural.
So what is the Johnny Walker?
Well, Pay will tell us what's the Johnny Walker.
Lord. It's a skit. It's a play. They dress like the guy on the Johnny Walker whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Is whiskey?
Whiskey, yeah.
Yeah, and they have a play that they recite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
similar
too.
to something they do in Bermuda. I don't know. There's this. They do it. I think almost like every day at between 12 and 1, like some kind of historical, some sort of historical performance where it's persons dressed in the old British garb and so forth, and it's like one of the citizens is being punished by the police force or the enforcement agency within the country, and they sit them at the end of what I can only define as like a catapult that goes down into the water, and there's a play and a dialogue that takes place, and it's supposed to be witty and funny, and every time the person says something, maybe they ask a question, did you do this? And he says no, and they don't believe him, and they dunk the person in the water and stuff like that.
Get the truth.
But it's in the traditional garb, they have that place, so similar to the outfit that, so I don't know if it's something maybe
not to that extent.
Not to that extent. There's no waterboarding.
No.
Okay, but and there was another one which I distinctly remember from my youth that used to be on the road, nigger business.
Yes.
What about that?
I know that there was some effort last year at Charles E. Mills to develop and revive something and enter it into the competition, or at least to display or demonstrate, but it did not materialize. I have to backcheck to see where they're at now, but my understanding of that is it was very interesting.
Yeah, because nigger business was of course, it was at Christmas time.
Yeah.
They walk through the streets, and the people
business.
who do that, they would during the year they would collect all the juicy, as we say, nigger business, right? Which means gossip, right, about people and what they've been doing, and then they recreate it in little plays as they go around, and that of course. Especially women used to love the nigger business because it made fun of all the happenings in the community.
We got a lot
especially
of
things that people would hide.
We got a lot of lawyer now, eh?
Yeah, but you see, I think they used to do it cleverly.
Okay.
They never call names.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right? They just reenact something that happened, and people will know what it is, and
Okay.
of course get the joke and the gist out of it, and they walk away without any slander.
Okay.
You know, because you ain't call no names. What they say, no blame, no name, no blame, no donkey fame. That's
you.
the same uses in
I can't recall ever seeing it. I can't recall.
The last
My
time,
parents have told me about it, but
Yeah.
I don't think.
yeah, the last time I recall seeing Nigger business was like in the 70s, maybe up to the late 70s. Of course, I then left St. Kitts in the 80s now, so I can't say what happened after that, but the last time I saw it was in the 70s. And then when I came back to St. Kitts in the mid-1990s, I never saw anything to do with it anymore.
Okay.
Suppose is there any correlation? Were you the one feeding all the nigger business?
No, no.
You were left with a suddenly die out? That seems suspicious.
That makes sense. Anyway.
Well, funny enough, I never heard them allude to anything that I was involved in, so I escaped. Maybe I was good. Good guy. Okay, and now we also have with us Mr. Cosbert Woods. We call him Cossie. He's the UN Coordination Officer, and he specifically wants to address us about the commemorative mural, which is going to be assisted by a UN aid team.
Well,
Is it?
The community here in the Federation.
Tell us about that initiative.
All right. So, morning again, everyone. Yes, so as indicated from the onset, today is UN Day, celebrated on the 24th of October every year. And this is a specifically important commemoration of UN Day, being the 80th anniversary of the United Nations coming into force. So the UN was established back in 1945 on this date, as I think some persons would know, to address matters pertaining to peace, development, and human rights, and then over time evolved into addressing other issues like climate change, disaster resilience, social protection, which is encapsulated by human rights, but and as well the membership would have expanded over the years. In the case of St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis became a member of the UN on September 25th, 1983. So just a few days
after independence.
Yes. So just a few days after we became an independent nation.
One of the rites of passage becoming a new nation.
Correct. So as is intrinsic in the name, United Nations. So it's a body of the various countries around the world. Independent countries make up part of this. So for this year, being a special year, the 80th anniversary, the global theme is Better Together, 80 years and more for peace, development, and human rights. So every year we work with the government and local stakeholders to commemorate the UN Day. So I think I've been in this position now for just over 4 years. So we've done flag raising ceremonies. We've lit up government headquarters in blue, which is the UN color. Last year we partnered with the Rotary Club of La Amiga to assist with the primary school spelling bee competition, which fell on UN Day. So it had a theme encapsulating the Sustainable Development Goals, which are the 30-year program for development that would have the 15-year program for development that would have come into place in 2015. So before we had with the intention to be implemented by 2030. So before the Sustainable Development Goals, we had the Millennium Development Goals, which started in 2000 and concluded in 2015 in terms of the implementation period. And then we transitioned in 2015 to embarking towards the Sustainable Development Goals. So within my multi-country office, we were thinking of a way to commemorate the 80th anniversary in a special manner that we could do collectively across the different countries that we service. So the UN Resident Coordination Office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, where the headquarters is based in Barbados, and we service the 9 English-speaking OECS countries. All right. In the independent countries, you have country coordination officers like myself. So I have a counterpart in Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Grenada. So we wanted to try and do something that could be replicated and done regionally. So one of the things that we kind of leaned towards was doing a commemorative mural that could be done in the different countries, right? So we had a discussion on it. We agreed that we would take that approach. Some persons were suggesting that we do something along the lines of the Sustainable Development Goals, right? As important as they are, I find that the UN is broader, right? And because the Sustainable Development Goals are sort of time-bound, in the case of St. Kitts and Nevis, I pushed for something that would be broader in nature. So it wouldn't just focus on that 15-year timeline, right? But we look at other elements that would have preceded the SDGs as part of this commemorative mural. And again, the 80th anniversary being a significant time, I also wanted it to be a very inclusive process at the end of the day. So not just something that we contract an artist and we give them a design or ask them to produce a design and erect it somewhere. So I got permission to do sort of all of society approach to this mural project. So with the guidance and assistance of Pierre and his team, as well as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we agreed to do a commemorative mural, which we would put on a wall. I'll tell you shortly where the designated area would be, which basically signifies what the UN at 80 means to St. Kitts and Nevis. What is the significance of the UN to St. Kitts and Nevis? What has the UN done in the country for St. Kitts and Nevis, and to throw it out to some of the artists for them to come up with designs and concepts that we would then review, select one, and then have the mural erected. But not just simply having the mural erected, but to have a collective approach to it. So we're in the process right now of finalizing our selection for the mural.
That's the design.
Yes, the design. Yeah, the design for the mural. And once that is done and we have the unveiling, the next step would be to have a community participatory process in terms of painting the mural. Right. So at the end of the day, everyone, several groups within society would be able to say, I was part of, erecting this mural or painting this mural. So the artist would, put the design on the wall.
So you go out and select, or you invite people to come forward and volunteer to be a painter?
Well, yes, we will we'll volunteer. So the process is that we would invite different groups within society. So we want to have representation from youth, from the clergy, from the civil society, from the private sector, from government, persons with disabilities, environmental groups, so a wide cross-section of persons to be part of this painting process. So the artist, again, would provide the instructions, and we would do this process over maybe like a 4 to 5 week period, so that persons can fit it into their schedule. If we can do it in a shorter time frame, that would be good, but just to ensure that it's as inclusive as possible, and majority of persons can come from their different groups to participate in the process. So we
Nice.
send out a schedule, ask you please indicate, when would be a convenient time for you or some persons from your specific faction or group to come and participate in this painting exercise, and then the artists would work with them, in doing it on that specific day. So then when we're finished, we have something that is truly representative of a St. Kitts and Nevis participatory process in
You think it'll be done in one day?
What?
The painting.
Oh no! Remember I said
Oh.
we're stretching out the process over.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
You said they come and do this in
No. So I
day.
guess each group would probably, we'd probably designate maybe a few hours for a specific group, or maybe two groups if they want to come
Okay.
at the same time, and the artists would indicate which
You do
area
what and how to do it
they
and
would
so on, yeah.
paint and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting. You say you were going to tell us where?
Yes, so it's going to be on the Newtown playing field wall, the side facing Pond Road, close to the entrance. So it would be on the right-hand side of the entrance facing Pond Road.
There's the national heroes on that same side.
Yeah. We won't. It won't.
There's enough space
yes,
between that
yes,
and
yes,
the
yes,
entrance.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Mhm.
I think this space designated, and Pierre can correct me, would probably be some old ads that
Yeah,
the
there's some old
writing
ads
has
there.
been washed out and so forth and whatnot. So anything, because I think you have a domestic violence, say no to domestic violence
I
mural.
think that's on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so those things of national significance and so forth, we won't interfere
Okay.
with those things. It would,
Is that wall plastered?
Not that section. Not that
Not
section.
that section, because I seem to think of it, and that's more difficult to paint.
Yeah, it's a
unplastered
challenge.
wall.
But the artists have been, practiced.
Like when you're doing canvas, you do gesso it first to smooth it
Yeah.
out. The wall, if you have it plaster, the paint goes on smoother and easier. But the coarse stones on concrete tend to soak up a lot of paint. And,
Yeah. It's been a struggle, and I must say over the years in this struggle, bringing art and visual arts and the murals to light has been making things a little bit more easy and accommodating, and I appreciate Woods and his agency for taking this route to create more opportunities for our visual artists to explore their talents and hopefully bring more light to the fact that we need smoother walls.
Yes.
But
that could be part of the project. Is it UN funded or?
yeah.
So maybe
Yeah,
part of the
partially
funding
UN
could be
funded
to
and
plaster it
support
first.
from the department.
Plaster and what you call this thing? Seal, but they call it when you
Prime.
paint prime.
Prime.
That's it. You prime it so that you have a nice sealed surface to paint from. So that might be something. Get that funded too.
Well, I mean, we have.
And then it'll be a much more long lasting and beautiful.
yeah.
Because we just don't want to do it for the sake of doing it. So the point is well taken. I mean, for UN Day activities, the position is that whilst the UN would provide resources to it, it has to be something that the government also takes ownership of, because it's the country takes ownership of, because it's their commemoration of it as well.
Okay.
So it has to be a partnership at the end of the day. So in relation to UN Day commemorative activities, it's slightly different from a funding perspective as opposed to other programmatic areas of support, where the UN is coming in to provide assistance for climate resilience, social protection, youth development, disaster resilience, things of that nature. In this specific instance, because the countries are the ones that are part of the UN, the members of the UN as well. They want to see the government, being actively involved in terms of coming to the table and contributing to the exercise at the end of the day. But it doesn't preclude us from trying to get, some additional resources.
When you finish creating your design, does that have to go to the UN for approval before it being used as a UN project, or it's left up to the local authorities?
No, well, there were a set of terms of reference that gives you the specific requirements for the design, which is in keeping with the UN principles. So the assessors would make a determination whether it meets the specific requirements. It has to represent inclusivity. Because again, we're speaking about diverse group of people. So you would want, if you're doing something that depicts people, you should show a diversity of people as opposed to just one group of people or one ethnicity and so forth. Right?
And I like how you mentioned that it will even include handicapped people, and that is admirable, because they too are creative and expressive, and it's good to see that they were given a chance to participate in that project. Now, when it's done, would some sort of submission of it be presented to the UN in terms of for their records and whatnot, like a picture and an article to say?
Yes, of course.
And of course, I imagine it will be blasted on social media and all those different things. And then you said it was also a collaborative effort between the OECS countries. Is the OECS?
Well, the OECS countries that are part of the multi-country office. So they too will be erecting murals in commemoration of
and would there be a collective kind of what should I say, advertisement of it when it's done and so on and so on?
Yes, that's the intention. But I think the way that we're doing it here in St. Kitts and Nevis is the most unique and creative. I've been speaking to my counterparts in the other countries. I think that they have indicated that they would get an artist and then he would just come and paint. And again, because the situation is different in the different countries, the concept is a mural which will be done, but what I'm understanding is that in some countries they will do like a bus shelter as opposed to like a wall.
I get you.
But in my conversation with them, we're the only ones that are bringing the people in to be part of the process as well. Right? And I think it augurs well for a significant anniversary of this nature. Right? I mean, it's intrinsic in the global theme, better together.
Right. So that theme will be expressed on the thing, and the specific anniversary and all that. Yeah, that should be interesting. I look forward to seeing it.
And painting?
I don't mind helping.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
You all know he's a painter, right? He's an artist. Okay.
I would love to. Yeah. I haven't pushed a brush in many years, but it doesn't leave you.
Good opportunity to.
Yeah, I would love to be involved in that. Yeah, that's a nice effort. Yeah.
I really want persons to when they drive by it or they walk by it, to have a sense of pride. I did that. I helped to do that. So I think it augurs well, and I trust that the design is going to be something that is visually, appealing and really helps to enhance the area as well.
Those things kind of grab attention.
Yeah.
We started in St. Kitts with advertisements on those walls, but now we are seeing other expressions. In particular, there's one in Challengers. Right? Yeah. Somebody's laughing because they seem to be saying themselves guilty, which depicts the Bloody Point story. And I was intrigued to hear it was on a program, a radio program, where somebody, I didn't want to call names on radio station, was reporting that they were at that particular mural and they were using video, going through the various panels and giving their interpretation of each panel, which depicted a story that unfolded in that area. And what I noticed is that it generated a certain amount of jealousy in terms of other communities.
Oh,
right?
That's good.
You know, in the sense that the person who was narrating was saying, you see, we have this and we have history. What do you have? And then they would say, oh, we're gonna do ours. But what do you have to put on your wall? You ain't have nothing. You have wall, but you have nothing to put on it.
Probably not, because there's a lot of history all around the island, a lot of heritage all around the island.
And so the other guy, he couldn't pinpoint anything that would be of significance to put on their wall, right? And they have some freshly done walls in that area, St. Peter's to be exact.
Okay.
Those new walls that are created as retaining
that.
walls.
Watching them.
He was saying, we're going to put something on the wall. We're going to get our historian, right, to tell us what we're going to paint.
Okay. So there's a lot of history in St. Peter's. It's just to really collect it. And, If you go in all the way up and you have Sofa Stone, you have where the old...
This Fountain Estate.
And
the French governor was.
And the funny thing I often say, Pierre, I don't know how the Ministry of Culture or Creative Economy or whoever is involved there, I've been sort of agitating in a quiet way for that place to come under the ownership of the state, right? Fountain Estate. Like Brimstone Hill, for example, is national property, but I think right now it's private property. They own up at, I think, because it's a significant part of history. And not that I don't feel that people have a right to own something like that, but I think because of its connection with history, and I think what has happened, if you notice, when we talk about St. Kitts, we only talk about the British history. You'll only hear the French part of the history when you're talking about how it interacted with the British history. So from the moment that the French were, as it were, exited St. Kitts, all elements of their history seem to have been ignored, let's put it that way, right? So you don't hear much about Fountain. You don't hear much about the French governor and the importance of the French around. Of course, you hear the little reference here and there. Oh, Bastia was the capital. That's why it have a French name, and so on and so on.
National flower.
And the national flower, Duponcy, and so on. Yeah, but you only hear little snippets of it, but you don't really get a sense that we pay any attention to the French history. Well, and I think making it a recognized national monument, let's call it, and giving more attention to it in terms of having it open for visitors, including locals, to go there and see and understand maybe some exhibits, museum things, some plaques and whatnot, what this was. Because that thing is a very impressive structure, that's up there. There are underground cellars and areas, and there's the part where the fountain itself was, hence the name. There was an old oven, brick oven on a far end. I hope it hasn't fallen down. And I think we need to put a little effort in restoring or at least conserving that area well and making it a place that people can visit and get immersed in French part of the history.
Okay, agreed. And they're going to take some more discussions and strategic planning and preparation.
It would.
And I want to believe that all of this feeds into that. And some of the work that we've been doing in discussing these things, having the conversation, generating different thought processes to realize that these are actually very important treasures that we should take care of. And actually preparing our people to do the restoration in sites like this. You would have been, you and your team would have been partner to some training that
the master class on
all of that is connected to us being able to do exactly things like that and restore and
but it's something I would probably like to see, and I think it would help to not are we celebrating the French or the British, but just acknowledging a part of our history that was. We can't change that.
All aspects of our history and our heritage. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, I think that's a good what you want to call it thing to look forward to. Okay, so on that note, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah. I'm going to be leaving.
So it would have been nice if you
Hi, this is Adia, your reigning junior Calypso monarch for the primary school section. I think by now, we all know that screen time is a hot topic all over the world. But don't worry, I'm here to help by giving you tips on what you can do instead of being on a screen all the time. So, here's a tip for you. Too much screen time can actually make us feel sad, anxious, or grumpy. Research from the University of Michigan found that kids who spend less time on screens and more time playing outside or with friends feel happier. Choose activities that make you smile. This message was brought to you by me, Adia, in collaboration with this radio station.
Looking for the perfect venue with history, beauty, and a breathtaking view? Come to Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park, St. Kitts' premier destination for unforgettable events. From romantic weddings and elegant banquets to family picnics and memorable celebrations, Brimstone Hill has the setting you've been searching for. Need a professional space? We also offer conference room facilities at both the Fortress and our Matheson House head office. Call us today at 465-2609 to make your booking. We're open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park, where history meets your most memorable moments.
Ready to save value build? Now you can at Builders Paradise. Yes, shoppers, build up your Value Club points at Builders Paradise. That's right, Value Club members and shoppers, your favorite frequent buyer club is now available at the home of hardware and more. Whether you're laying tiles, painting walls, replacing doors, upgrading windows, or fixing up your home, every purchase at Builders Paradise now earns you Value Club points. Enjoy exclusive benefits like discounts on thousands of items, special savings for seniors, instant deals, quarterly rebates, plus an extra up to 2% off every quarter. Shop more, save more, earn more, only at Builders Paradise. Don't miss out. Start building your rewards today with Value Club at Builders Paradise, because every bolt, board, and brush brings you closer to bigger, better savings. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, welcome back to Heritage Matters, and thank you for listening and being a part of the show. And we had Mr. Rodney Brown with us. He has now left because he has another engagement. But we still have with us Mr. Pierre Liebert and Mr. Cosbert Woods. And Mr. Woods, we were talking about that commemorative mural, and I think you had something else to add for us.
Well, I just wanted to sort of double down on what's the intention behind, the mural, or why we felt that a mural would be a good way to commemorate this anniversary. When it comes to public art, I think it does serve as a unifying force for community identity and shared values. Right? So by engaging stakeholders, as I indicated, groups such as probably youth, women, persons with disability, academia, the clergy, civil society, private sector, government, we can help to promote national ownership of the UN's presence in the Federation, highlighting the impact and the work of the UN development system in St. Kitts and Nevis. And just in terms of giving a bit of quick context, currently, because my role as a coordinator, I have oversight to monitor the different UN programs, funds, and agencies that operate here. So we have about 14 agencies that are providing programmatic support to St. Kitts and Nevis between the course of the last 2 years. So 14 UN agencies have been working and providing support. And just for clarity for anyone listening, when we speak about the agencies, you're talking about like the UNDP, UN Development Program, UNESCO, UNICEF, FAO, these are the different UN agencies that are doing work in St. Kitts and Nevis. So about 14 agencies have been providing programmatic support across 97 different intervention areas. Right. So they're active in the country. And I think we really want to, by virtue of some of the support that has been given over the year, because the UN has been working in St. Kitts and Nevis before my onboarding into this position and continues to do so. And for those persons that have been following what has been happening globally, that funding has been cut, to the UN development system, largely driven by some actions of the US government.
Yes.
and the trickle-on effect of that. So there has been sort of a refocusing, restructuring, and even a call from the UN member countries to maintain and support the relevance of these agencies because of the impact of the work that they do in the country. I think, by having this initiative as well, we can also foster civic pride and awareness of the UN's specific roles in terms of advancing peace, development, and human rights. I was trying not to address it per se, but as this is an area close to my heart, I have to do a point of correction. When we speak about persons with disabilities, the persons tend to be a bit finicky in terms of what is the proper nomenclature to address them by, right? So sometimes, I've heard this new term that has evolved, differently abled people and so forth, right? But one thing we have to be careful about when we refer to the persons with disabilities community is that first and foremost they are people,
right.
They are persons, right?
First and foremost.
Persons foremost. So when we speak about that community, we say persons with disabilities, right? We personalize them, we humanize them. If you said handicapped people or differently abled people, you are referencing the challenge or the disability in the first instance. So you have dehumanized them, and then as this is the thing that is more prominent or the key feature. And I think those are some of the challenges that affect the community and their issues as it pertains to getting access to some of the basic human rights. So, just as a point of correction.
That's a good one, yeah.
Putting the disability first, they then become defined.
Yes,
by
put the people
Correct.
first.
Yeah. Correct, yes.
Put people first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always key that we put the people first, so you know. All right? And I mean, it's a ticklish subject,
No, I like
you know.
that. It's like, for example, there was a time whenever you read books, you'll see about African slaves, right? In other words, you're putting the African first, and then that there were slaves, which sounds like Africans are slaves. But then we are trying to change that narrative to say enslaved Africans. So they're Africans. They're not slaves, but they were enslaved.
Yeah, they are more than slaves.
So we understand that they weren't slaves by virtue of their origin, right? But just that they fell into a situation where other people decided to enslave them.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where they end up that way. So that's a good one. We will have to say people first. People with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay.
So and the mural should acknowledge that that they exist and are people, and as well as different aspects of our daily living here in St. Kitts Nevis, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That should be an interesting mural. I'm dying to see it. Yeah, dying to see it.
I mean, we wanted to be impactful, visually appealing, without being too busy at the end of the day.
That's important.
You know, right, yeah. So the key elements that should be able to jump out at you, where you'll see the imagery and you can say, okay, yes, I see the connection to peace. I see, yes, where the mural depicts the development that has taken place in St. Kitts and Nevis. Right? I see the areas where we speak about inclusivity and human rights depicted in the mural. So, you know, we're trying to ensure that it captures these things, it's visually appealing, and not too busy, that you have to be standing there, you know, kind of like, you know, what's going on here, you know? Right, yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I could almost guarantee that there are people listening now or who would hear later on who would want to come up and, you know, paint a couple patches of paint. How do they go about doing that?
Well, once we finalize the selection of the mural design, we'll work with the artists in terms of putting a schedule together. So we will write to ask specific groups to participate, but we do welcome persons that would have an interest.
Is there like a contact that they can get to register their interest in participating?
Yes, there will be. There will be. So it would probably be between myself, the artist, and PS department.
Okay.
You know, at the end of the day,
They
because
probably
he's
get
well
to know.
tapped into the you know, the community as well.
Okay, but the public will get to know.
Yes, most definitely. Right. So when we do the unveiling of the design, then that information would be ready at that time in terms of who you contact, you know, the time frame within which we'll be looking to do the painting of the mural and so forth.
Okay. There's something I'm seeing here on my notes, the folk galore competition.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
I think we mentioned it.
We mentioned it, but that's why we have it down, but I don't think you said it's December 18th.
17th.
In the circus.
Yeah, last year it was the 18th. This year is the 17th.
Oh, the 17th. Okay.
In the circus.
And it's in the circus. What that's all about? What?
That's all about celebrating and putting on display our different masquerade traditions. And that includes the practicing folklore. That's bull, makajumbi, mummies, clowns, Johnny Walker. All of them are currently practiced.
So they all congregate in the circus area.
Yeah.
And the public is free to gather around and watch
outside behind
and
the barricade.
Dance, behind the barricade. And enjoy.
Cheer on.
Yeah, and cheer on.
And support your favorite. Even if you don't have a favorite, if you like and appreciate our traditions, just come and support and enjoy the performances. Friendly, high energy performances. And we have, I think, to date, 26 groups registered.
Oh, wow.
If my number is
Well,
correct.
what time that's going to start?
What time we start by? 5 p.m.
Oh, 5. So that's only going on to like 8 to 9 o'clock in the evening.
Last year we shut down about 9. We try to be efficient.
Okay.
And so there's a lot to go through.
And there's quite a few people,
Yeah. And they compete in 3 categories. We have masquerade, bull, and mixed folklore.
Oh, so they compete within their particular, let's call it genre?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's areas where we have at least 3. But areas where you don't have as many. Again, don't have as many clowns, don't have as many Makajumbi, Johnny Walker and so forth, so they go into the mix.
Okay.
Right, and actors and so. Last year, these guys had fire, somersaulting over.
They add some new elements to it that make it, interesting,
And one Makajumbi pick up another Makajumbi last year, which I would have never imagined, but it happened.
Makajumbi pick
up another Makajumbi and walk around with them.
What?
No, imagine that. But
it's hard enough balancing on those things by yourself.
Huh?
By the sticks?
By the person.
And lift the person up.
Even that
because that off balances you. You got to learn how to balance on those high stilts doing that. That's
just demonstrate the level of skill and coordination between them. And the crowd that attends really enjoy it, and we're encouraging persons to come out and support it. We had a massive viewing audience virtually last year, massive physical audience as well. But nothing beats being there and experiencing it.
Yeah, that is true. I find you can watch things on video, but the actual experience of being there is much more impactful.
Yeah. And I must commend the National Bank Group, who would have been our primary partner and sponsor last year, and they'd expressed their interest in supporting these traditions, and looking forward to joining us again this year.
That's wonderful. We thank them and we encourage them to keep supporting these initiatives because they're an important part of our social, historical, and heritage fabric.
Yeah, and they win.
And we need to promote.
They win financial prizes, trophy, and bragging rights that they rub in one another's face.
Yes.
All year until they reach back.
Yeah, again. for the next time.
So it's a fun experience.
Yeah, that is great. Okay. Well, gentlemen, we thank you so much for being here today. And I know when we tell you 2 hours, you think is long, but you see how quickly it flies off and so on. And I think we had quite a nice, interesting session on all these various things, and let's keep the public informed of these. Hopefully when they come off, we can come back to them and say they came off and what the results were. The mural, hopefully we'll be able to give an update in terms of where we are, maybe show the design and what the dates are for the putting together of it physically, and looking for the public support in terms of helping with that, and moving forward with all these projects. You have a lot on your hands, Pierre.
Yeah.
And I commend you for all of these, and I think that
I have a good team.
You got a good team, and you're moving forward with it. So thank you all for being here, and see you around next time on Heritage Matters.
Thank you.
Thank you.